Well, first two worsts figure out which is worse. And then the other two worsts figure out which is worse. And then the top two worsts fight it out until eventually you get the WORSTEST Worstest.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
In the great name of Ron Popeil, we, Worstest, bring you tonight a special offer. I don't know. I can't do it. Ron Popeil's dead. And with that...
I'm not sure who that is.
Oh, my God. Ron Popeil?
Now I understand why you mentioned him before this episode.
Is he related to Don Pardo?
No, Ron Popeil. Ronco or Popeil. The In the Egg Scrambler. GLH, good-looking hair. The spray-on hair. The Pocket Fisherman. The Mr. Microphone. Those are all inventions brought to you by Ron Popeil, who had two companies, Ronco and Popeil. And it's a very interesting story that we're not really going to go into today.
What?
But you've heard enough about it. If you're interested, go look it up yourself. It's fascinating. There's a great documentary about him. An amazing dude and evidently a very nice guy. And he kept on huckstering stuff forever. Also, the Instant Party Rotisserie machine. This is when like his inventions got a little more high end.
I'm not remembering that one. What was that?
It was an actual rotisserie. You'd put a chicken in there. It kind of started the whole rotisserie chicken thing, but this is a home rotisserie, and it wasn't like the In the Egg Scrambler or the Decorator, the Easter egg decorator. You remember all this?
Not that one.
Oh, I had a Decorator.
I don't remember that.
I bothered my
Can
mother.
you say that again?
A Decorator.
Wow, Decorator.
So it was to make Easter eggs. Oh, all the mess. And, there's somebody throwing an egg in, and there's dye all over Grandma, and she's blue now. And
there's got to be a better way.
And there was the Decorator. And it had
I used to have a flesh color. What happened?
Well, it had like two suctions at the end that held the egg, and then you'd have like these dye pens, and you could go back and forth on the egg and make all kinds of patterns. It was beautiful, and now it's gone, as is Ron Popeil.
It lost out to Etch-a-Sketch, I guess.
Here's the thing. Etch-a-Sketch was 2 dimensions.
That's
the
true.
Decorator was 3 dimensions. Plus, it brought the Epiphany, the celebration of Jesus, because it was eggs for Easter.
All right.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that the Epiphany? Isn't that when?
I don't remember.
No.
I'm not recalling.
Well, I do, you savages, you heretics. It is.
I just always wondered how Peter
while.
Cottontail laid all those chocolate eggs.
The Epiphany is celebrated in January, but
Oh, is it? Oh, that's January
digress.
6th, right?
I believe, yeah.
There we go. At least 2 of us aren't going to hell.
Pete, I think John just had an epiphany, didn't he?
I did. I had an epiphany. We should get on with this episode. How's that?
I concur.
Right? So, today's episode, as you know, who's listening to this, it says it right there on whatever podcatcher you're listening this to. It is the Worst Invention episode. So let's go around, let's introduce ourselves, and let us tell everybody what invention we are bringing that we support is the worst invention.
My name is Tim, and I will be discussing leaded gasoline.
That ain't a good one. We're starting off dour in the very beginning. I am John Dorsick, and I am bringing you the microwave oven.
Really?
Yes.
All right.
That's
well,
one of my favorite things at home. You're going to have to bring a strong case.
Oh, my case is strong. If I might lose to leaded gasoline, but that's it. It's good.
All right. Well, I am Pete, and I have to admit that I feel like I'm being overlooked a little bit here, as I do have the Trico hair removal system, which is, I'm just going to say it right now, the worst invention.
I'm excited to hear about it. I do have a little hair on the back problem.
We'll talk later.
Thank you. Actually, I have only a patch on my left shoulder, and I was told that means it's a very slight indication of spina bifida, I think.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I looked
Wait,
into
maybe
it.
it's
True.
halitosis?
Expialidocious?
Is that what your phrenologist told you?
No. No, maybe it was, because I only had lumps on one side of my head.
Okay, well then
Yeah.
there you go.
No, we'll look up. It's true. I looked it up. Anyway, Scott, what are you bringing us?
All right, well, can you smell what the Scott is cooking? Because I'm bringing to the table smell-o-vision.
Well, I
Sounds bad.
I can't wait for
Oh, you wait.
I can't wait for the end because I want to hear all about smell-o-vision, but I'm going to have to wait because there are 3 more, or 3 firsts, or there are 3. Help me out here.
Well, I know there are 4 people going, John. There's only 4 of us in the room.
Right, and you're going last.
Oh, is that the case? Okay.
Oh no, Pete's going last.
That's
You're going
right.
third.
All right.
All right, so it's just me and Tim.
All right.
All right,
Get
well,
on
rock
with
and
it.
roll.
I'm bored already.
I really am too.
Let's go.
Hopefully nobody else is, aside from us. Tim, without further ado, please take it away.
All right. As stated before, I will be discussing leaded gasoline as the world's worst invention. But first, some background. Lead, the scientific name being tetraethyl lead, is an organolead compound. It was widely used as a fuel additive for much of the 20th century, first being mixed with gasoline beginning in the 1920s. Now, the reason lead was added to gasoline was for its high octane rating. Leaded gasoline was famous for reducing what's called knock in an engine. And it was first synthesized by a German chemist named Carl Jacob Lewig in 1853. However, it was American chemical engineer Thomas Midgley Jr.
USA.
Yes, who was working for the famous U.S. automaker General Motors, was the first to discover its effectiveness as a knock inhibitor. In December 1921, he spent 6 years trying to find an additive that was both highly effective and inexpensive. Lead, he discovered, was both. So at the time, it appeared to be a perfect additive to gasoline.
And those Germans don't know nothing about marketing.
Well, apparently not.
USA.
But what Thomas Midgley Jr. would unleash on the world, we are still living with the repercussions. So, as most people are aware, lead is extremely toxic to human beings. It is, in fact, a neurotoxin, and no amount of it is considered safe. In fact, health hazards associated with lead have been documented since at least as far back as the 1920s, the time that Midgley was doing his experiments. Now, over the years, lead poisoning, whether it was through lead paint chips that were eaten by children, lead apparently has a sweet taste to it. So if you're wondering why children would eat paint chips, that would be the logical reason.
Are you going to talk about how lead was used as a condiment?
No, that would only come in the 1970s accidentally.
Well, actually, no. There's a great podcast. This podcast will kill you. They did an amazing episode
I think
on
it was called McLead, right? It was McDonald's.
McLead, and then there was McLead Light. There was the McLead Deluxe. One side was kept hot, the other side was kept cold. Lead's been around forever. No, things were cooked in lead pots in Roman times because it gave a sweet flavor to the food.
Right.
Roman times, I believe in medieval times also, they would cook in lead because it gave things flavor. And there is speculation on, well, I'm sure you'll get to it. I'll throw my 2 cents in. Maybe I shouldn't. I do have a little competition myself. I'll shut up.
All right.
Please, Tim, continue.
So, thank you, John. I'm
Thank
going to
you
get
for
into
shutting up.
No, I'm going to get into that. What you've been talking about. So again, as I said, it's a neurotoxin. No amount is considered safe. It has been shown to cause in children and eventually adults hypertension, mental retardation, aggressive and often violent behavior, which would certainly explain what you said, John, the incredible violence of the Roman Empire as well as the Middle Ages. In fact, 3.5 micrograms per deciliter is considered to be too high in a human being. And I'll get into these statistics about where some human beings from certain generations, where their levels are. Other health impairments that can follow later in life is hypertension, cardiovascular disease, dementia. As you may or may not know, leaded gasoline began to be phased out with the Clean Air Act of 1970, one of the landmark environmental laws in American history. The Clean Air Act of 1970, it didn't just mandate lower amounts of lead in gasoline. The real death knell to leaded gasoline was the lower emission standards that were required in cars. Lower emissions in carbon monoxide and nitrogen oxides. Now, due to lower emission standards, automakers had to create the catalytic converter. This would convert carbon monoxide and nitrous oxide and other hydrocarbons into water, CO2, and nitrogen gas. These catalytic converters could not use leaded gasoline. Leaded gasoline damages the catalytic converters, which meant that all cars that were created starting with model year 1975 could not use leaded gasoline. Now, when I read this, I first wondered, wait a minute, how are you going to stop someone from fueling their car up with leaded gasoline? How do you police that? Well, it turns out that the nozzles for leaded gasoline were not going to fit the new fuel inlets of any car made from 1975 onward. So you couldn't gas up your car with leaded gasoline even if you wanted to. So that was the way they started to phase it out.
So basically like putting a round peg in a square hole, is that what we're talking
Right.
about? Okay.
It couldn't be done. So if you had a car from 1975 onward, you simply could not use leaded gasoline.
But it really wouldn't make too much sense to put leaded gas into a catalytic converter anyway.
Right, you'd ruin
probably
it.
explode your car. or
Yeah,
something.
exactly. It would absolutely ruin it.
It would clog it up basically, and then your exhaust would just stop. It would like be putting a banana
Come
in
on,
your
wouldn't there
exhaust.
be some explosion? Possibly. Come
Yes.
on. Thank you.
There would be a gigantic explosion, and everyone's pants would come off.
Oh, goody.
And we're stopping that. Why?
I don't know. Stupid. For stupid reasons.
Reminds me of every show I ever watched in the 70s.
Pretty much.
Boom. Oh, and their underwear was always polka dot.
Red and white, right?
Yeah.
I don't own any polka dot underwear. No one I know's own polka dot underwear. Why does everyone on TV wear polka dot underwear?
Because their pants are going to come off.
There you go.
Exploding.
And it's funny.
Delicious.
Some guy from the Borscht Belt. You got to make those underwear polka dots. It's funnier that way.
It's true. Have your
You
pants
want a
ever
K?
fallen off?
You want a K in a word, and you want your pants to have polka dotted underwears.
That's comedy,
That's
kid.
how we were just about to say it at the same time.
We should have. That's too bad. Never worried about cutting me off, John. Just jump in there.
Thank you.
That's comedy, kid.
Damn it. You're going to be a star with your polka dotted underwear and your K words. Funny, 2 Ks like kangaroo or caramel custard? Yeah. Funny. 3 Ks, not so funny.
Caramel custard.
3 Ks bad.
It's a fine line in comedy, kid.
really
Very
is.
fine line between humor and offensiveness.
It's a fine line between yucks and white supremacy.
You said it. All right, back to leaded gasoline.
Please.
So,
Let's lighten up the mood.
leaded gasoline was
I'm already getting angry.
Oh, well, just wait and see, guys, because our generation was right in the sweet spot for this. Lead was officially banned in 1996, with some exceptions made for race cars and certain watercraft. However, those Americans born before 1996 may have lost, on average, up to 2.6 IQ points due to childhood lead exposure. This was discovered by a joint study from Florida State and Duke University. That is a collective 824 million points in the United States that we might have lost
IQ points.
due to lead poisoning.
That explains so much.
It does.
Oh,
It
and
explains 90 Day Fiance, that's for sure.
Yes, it does.
Oh, no. Now we just lost half our listenership.
Yeah. Now, how about this? It might the IQ points that we lost. It might have been as high as 6 or 7 for those born in the 1960s and 1970s, which includes, I believe, all of us sitting at this table.
For sure.
Yep.
Bingo.
The generation that has probably suffered the most, the worst effects of leaded gasoline is Generation X. Those people born between 1964 and 1980.
We're drinking out of hoses. We're breathing lead.
Oh,
we're eating
yeah.
lead paint.
Oh, yeah. There's also been
Eating
evidence.
Fruit Loops.
That's right. Oh, yes. Yeah. That's like the least worst thing we put in our bodies.
Painting with Shields green.
Yep. There's also been evidence of increased rates of depression, anxiety, inattentiveness, and hyperactivity. That explains most of my adolescence right there.
That explains today.
Yeah.
That explains my afternoon.
It really does. If I get to the second round, I'll go more into detail on a fabulous book that came out this summer called Murderland: Crime and Bloodlust in the Time of Serial Killers by Caroline Fraser. Basically, the book is about how the rise of serial killers in the Northwest, the Pacific Northwest, as well as the West in general, might be related to a whole bunch of smelting plants where copper, lead, and other toxic chemicals were produced, which might have led to, again, a tremendous increase in serial killings and violent crime throughout the 1970s and early 1980s.
I now feel guilty for all the bottom fishing I did. All the poor lead weights I left out there. I didn't need them. I didn't catch anything anyway.
Well, as one of the blurbs from the book says, the fuel additive is the work of GM's mechanical engineer Thomas Midgley Jr., who invents not only leaded gasoline, but chlorofluorocarbons, which will which will come to be regarded as two of the most harmful chemical compounds ever produced during the industrial age.
He also invented getting kicked in the pills.
Yeah, he might as well have. It says chlorofluorocarbons will destroy the atmosphere. Leaded gasoline will drive everyone mad, slowly, filling children's teeth with lead. Sometimes bad things are engineered by engineers. And I give you leaded gasoline, the worst invention ever.
Wow.
That was a bad one.
Very tight presentation.
Very tight, very tight.
Thank you.
All right, well, I'm going against that. Mine is tight, but also informative. Scott, I'm going to steal a little something from your playbook that you've basically thrown away. I picked up that playbook. I'm going to talk for a bit before I get to the meat. Right? This is going to be like one of those banana-wrapped pigs, like in Hawaii. So like we're going to have to dig a deep hole, pull out the pig, get the banana leaves off of it. There's going to be a lot before we get to my...
Okay.
But I do remember the fantastic way that you explained to us about color. So I'm going to try to do the same thing with how microwave ovens work.
Hopefully your story will taste as good as a banana wrap pig.
It will not. It will not. Nothing tastes better than a banana wrap pig.
Well, I just want to go on record as saying I love my microwave, and I'm incredibly intrigued to see where you take this.
Well, strap in.
Okay?
Fuck! I just had to get it out. Fuck. Okay, go ahead.
That's Pete, that's the lead talking. Now smash somebody over the head with a book.
I hate learning.
Stupid words.
I bring unto you, what price? Convenience.
I like it.
The microwave oven. We cannot fathom a kitchen, a convenience store, an office break room without one. Now, there is a lot of balderdash and silliness spoken about the microwave oven, and I am here to tell you, friends, I will not be the agent of misinformation. Oh, no, not today. My job and my mission is much too important for that. 90% of the U.S., Canadian, and the Antipodes, and many other countries' families have a microwave oven taking up space somewhere in their homes. We don't have any real understanding of what they do, and they just sit there, silent, inscrutable, giving away nothing except a weird, annoying sound a few times a day. Much like your great Uncle Ray that comes over for Thanksgiving and just sits there in the most uncomfortable chair in the living room, and he just stays there. He doesn't say a word all day, and then he bums a ride from someone at the dinner, but it's not even to his house. I mean, where does that guy even live? What's his deal? But I digress. To separate the alarmist fiction from the truly terrible facts, let's first take a look at how the microwave oven works. We've all played with a simple magnet at one time or another.
Sure.
Right? They usually were stuck in the back of those primary colored letters that kids would put on the refrigerator. And they'd spell out their name or their favorite pet. And when no one was looking, you'd spell out dirty words and show your friends and then scramble the letters before anyone caught you. If you took one of those magnets and pushed it close to another magnet, the magnets would either move together or move away from each other, right? That's because one end of the magnets are positively charged and the other is negatively charged. If one positive moves towards a positive, they'll repel each other. And if one positive goes close to a negative, they will attract each other. This is also the premise of the Golden Girls. How does this correlate to microwave ovens? Because microwave ovens heat food using this principle, known as dielectric heating. Now, a water molecule has a dipole structure, meaning one end is partially positive and one end is partially negative, just like our little friend, the dirty word refrigerator letter magnet. When you turn on the microwave oven, it creates electromagnetic waves. Electromagnetic means electric magnetic. Short. The waves created also have positive and negative polarity that change rapidly. Each time one wave cycle moves over a water molecule, it makes the water molecule move, just like the two magnets moved on the kitchen table.
Okay.
Now, how does this make heat? Well, just like when we rub our hands together and that friction warms up our hands, the friction of the water molecules being moved by the electromagnetic waves back and forth creates heat. Now imagine one flip of the water molecule, because what's going to happen is the waves come in, the wave, a sine wave moves up and down. Each time it moves up, that water molecule will flip over, and then when it moves down, the water molecule will flip back up again. And with each passing of those sine waves, the water molecule will move up and down and up and down. Now, imagine one flip of the water molecule being like one rub of your hand. How frequently do they flip? How frequently do these water molecules flip? It can vary according to your microwave, but it averages about 2.5 billion times a second.
Wait, what?
Yes. Wow. So those water molecules are flipping back and forth, up and down, 2.5 billion times
per
a second. So imagine the amount of heat you can produce rubbing your hands together that fast. Actually, don't. That is some bloody stump nightmare fuel.
Oh my gosh.
But that is how a microwave oven works. That is some incredible science. In fact, in 1940, when this technology was created by the British for use in radar, they realized that they had something amazing. They offered it to the U.S. in exchange for industrial and financial support. They were fighting a little war at that point. The cavity magnetron, which is what made radar and microwave technology possible, was later described by American historian James Finney Baxter III as...
Are you sure he wasn't British? Just it's a very English-sounding name.
His actual real name
Here we go.
was Rod McPunchfuck, but he changed it for personal and professional reasons.
Makes sense.
Right?
Sure.
So, American historian James Finney Baxter III described the cavity magnetron as the most valuable cargo ever brought to our shores. Contracts are awarded to Raytheon and other companies for the mass production of the cavity magnetron.
Didn't some guy have a chocolate bar in his pocket and it started melting on him?
That is exactly right. In 1947, so when they brought over the cavity magnetron, they were working on radar, which those waves, the radar waves, are very large and very long, and they were basically trying to make the waves smaller and smaller. And what they did was they created a very interesting valve. It's like an electric valve, like a water valve, as you would think, because it just turns on and off electricity very quickly. And that valve was able to make those long radar waves turn into short microwaves. And when they were working on the microwave technology, like I said, in 1947, some guy was working on the microwave technology, and fortunately, he was one of the chubbier people in the lab, and he had a chocolate bar just in his pocket, as one does. And when he went to get the delicious chocolatey morsel, he noticed that his chocolate bar in his beloved chocolate bar pocket was all melted.
A little bit easier to notice than your innards, increasing in temperature.
Cooking, yes, yes. I've got a message for James Finney Baxter III. The most valuable cargo that ever came to our shores is now the bitch boy of 2 a.m. Hot Pockets, an unevenly heated 3-day-old Kung Pao chicken. Oh, microwave ovens, how are you the worstest? Let me count the ways. As Tim stated in last week's winning Worst Commercial Foray, we have been hypnotized by Madison Avenue to believe that we're too busy to cook. We lead hectic lives. But do we? Take a look at the Screen Time app on your phone and tell me you're too busy working that you're on the go. You spent 3 hours on Instagram alone yesterday. You couldn't have cooked a meal in that time? Hell, you could have made something for 1/5 of the cost of whatever single-serving nightmare you last heated up. With that home-cooked meal, you could have made several servings and had enough for all week. But how would I heat it up, you might ask? With your oven, you mess.
John, I'm sorry. I was just looking at Facebook. What were you just saying?
You monster. I was saying, you know what you should be looking at, Scott? A mirror.
I thought you were going to say a recipe book.
That too.
In a mirror.
In a mirror. I'm going to write a recipe book on mirrors so everyone can see the vanity.
It's going to have to write it right to left and backwards.
I can do it. From what I've told, that's what everything on Instagram looks like anyway. Anyway, with that home-cooked meal, you could have made several servings and had enough for all week. Oh, I will say again, but how would I heat it up? With your oven, you Instagram, Facebook-looking mess. I made a big pot of chili the other day, and I heated up a single serving in a saucepan. Guess what? It heated up in the same amount of time. It wasn't freezing cold in the middle of the left side, and the bowl didn't burn my fingertips off. If I had those refrigerator letters now, I'd spell out bamboozled.
You have that many letters?
I do.
You usually lose them very quickly, but...
Not the B's, evidently.
I get your point.
You know what I'm saying.
You always have a lot of Z's, though.
And I would use like 3 of them in bamboozled.
Of course.
Listen, man, we've been brainwashed to repeat, I'm just too busy, over and over again. And what's the next step in that deadly dance? Buying some pre-made, over-processed, plasticized, incredibly expensive factory food with a chemical ingredient list longer than Barry Wood in his prime. And he's safer to put in your mouth, too. Let me give you one example. The ever-popular TV dinner staple, Salisbury steak. In the 1970s, this is the ingredient list from a TV dinner, a frozen TV dinner for Salisbury steak.
My left arm's going numb already.
With flavor. It contained a 1970s Salisbury steak TV dinner.
Swanson.
Tim, I
Swanson.
certainly hope steak is the first ingredient.
Well, we'll see. I'm guessing riboflavon's one.
Well, in 1970, the ingredient list was beef,
Okay.
water,
Yes.
breadcrumbs, onions,
Okay.
salt, spices.
Sounds good.
It sounds great, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now,
Thankfully, you brought some in. Pass it around
The
now.
fewer the syllables, the better.
exactly. Now, this is a modern microwavable Salisbury steak dinner. Beef, water.
Something is definitely going to be partially hydrogenated.
Here we go. Are you ready? I think the little roller coaster cart's about to go over the top crest. Textured vegetable protein.
Oh, yeah.
Soy protein concentrate and caramel color. Caramel color. Not so funny now, is it?
Spelt with K's.
It could be spelled with backwards K's and it ain't funny. Breadcrumbs, onions, salt, spices, monosodium glutamate.
Of course.
Caramel color again.
Again?
Artificial flavors, and sodium phosphates.
Ooh.
That's the
There.
crunchy stuff on the top, right?
It better be.
Doesn't phosphate ignite?
Yes, it ignites in your liver
Nice.
and blows off all the good parts that you were born with. So, because of the need to keep these Franken meals shelf stable in a variety of quick serve contexts, supermarkets, train stations, gas stations, convenience stores, all need to have these meals able to sit on shelves indefinitely, waiting for the eventuality of being placed in the evil maw of a microwave oven. Just like taking a pee while swimming in the Amazon brings about some of the worst unpleasantness known to nature, so has the microwave oven. How many times do we have to be subject to people telling us microwaves change water's DNA? Watson and Crick want a word with you. Or that it zaps nutrition from food. It doesn't. Worst of all,
There's got to be food in there first.
well, very true. You can't zap the nutrition out of some monosodium phosphate. Worst of all, thanks to all the preservatives in food, we've got Commander Croaky McBrainworm babbling about them, but doing nothing about them except getting a big pharma product push for fat reduction meds and letting Corporate Foods Incorporated take the colors out of a few cereals and professing they care about your health. What he could do is push for people to actually cook meals and create a program to have people in charge of their own healthy lifestyle choice, but he was too busy cheating on his first wife 37 times in true Kennedy style, the only thing he has in common with his family. Yet again, I digress.
I guess so.
These microwave meals are predominantly single serve for your convenience. But it just creates more plastic waste that are polluting our earth, in addition to polluting our bodies. The extra fats and sugars added to microwavable foods are creating an obesity crisis in this country. Cue up Commander Croaky and his big pharma footsie buddies once more.
Commander Croaky.
Speaking about microwavable plastics, for all the non-scientific malarkey that gets pontificated about, the one that rarely gets talked about is the real risk. Microplastics and leached out chemicals that get into food from microwaving in plastic containers. And I'm looking at you, Chinese food soup containers. Research from experiments done at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln have shown that microwaving plastic baby food containers available on the shelves of U.S. stores can release huge numbers of plastic particles, in some cases more than 2 billion nanoplastics and 4 million microplastics for every square centimeter of container.
That doesn't sound good.
It ain't good, my friends. And no amounts of K's or C's can make it funny. Though the health effects of consuming micro and nanoplastics remain unclear, the Nebraska team further found that 3/4 of cultured embryonic kidney cells had died after 2 days of being introduced to those same particles.
Ouch.
A 2022 report from the World Health Organization recommended limited exposure to such particles.
What was that?
That was my Robert Kennedy Jr. impersonation.
Oh, thank
No,
you.
that
He hates the world.
That was the worm.
That was the brainworm. So we've got the microwave complicit in the destruction of our health, but it's also guilty of destroying our hearts. The heating up of food in a microwave is a solitary act, and the immediate cramming it down one's gullet is equally harsh and lonely. So I have more to talk about, but for this section, I will just sum this up before I inevitably move forward into the second half. In summation, the microwave oven is awful because what was once lauded by old Finney Baxter III as the most valuable cargo ever brought to our shores has, like that handsome dude from the second season of Degrassi Senior High who left the biz, became a bond trader, and then had a coke stroke, the microwave oven went from invaluable to a nondescript box that makes saps of us all, of our health, our wealth, and our happiness. Thank you.
Oh,
Very nice.
beautiful.
Very nice.
Should we clap or cry?
Both. It is like the twin masks, Scott. See, I had a little lead in me. That's why that happened.
Quite a bit, I think.
Yes. So go ahead. Talk.
Yes, so we shall. And I just want to say, for the record, I have neither leaded gasoline nor a microwave oven in my house. So there you have it.
That's true. Yeah,
Well, I definitely wouldn't store any gasoline in my house either, Pete, so I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
But do you have hair removal systems in your house?
That I can't guarantee.
Well, we'll hear about it in the next half.
Yeah, so
Where do you want to start?
good, two good arguments. So we have the horror of leaded gasoline, and I actually, in my youth, we were surrounded by leaded gasoline. It was everywhere. I actually just assumed it was, you had to have lead in the gasoline. I don't know, right? But no, it was introduced by an engineer to.
Simply to make the engine more quiet, if I remember the presentation.
I think it was to fuck things
And
up
also
a little bit worse.
combustibility, I think.
Yeah, combustibility, reducing engine knock. I never quite figured out what knock meant. It just meant the engine ran more efficiently.
Yeah, I remember our 70s cars knocking.
Yeah, for sure.
But they all ran on leaded gasoline, so I don't.
Maybe it was to lower people's IQs so then they would buy the Chevy Vega.
It's all going according to plan.
Right.
Yes, buy the Vega, you fool.
Tim, what was that guy's name that invented that in the fluorocarb?
Midgley, Thomas Midgley Jr.
It's just got the name for it, too.
Oh, yeah.
Midgley.
He was
You
no
know he's some
Midgley.
sniveling little guy,
Yeah,
sitting in the corner.
And
You
then
don't
we
like
have
my lead? Well, I'll make chlorofluorocarbons.
That's right.
In your second half, do you have an update on, what was his name? Klidgley Midgley?
Midgley? No
Midgley?
update on him.
Yeah, I do.
Oh.
On Midgley?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
But
John's kind of trying to move the needle here a little bit.
I
So
know.
let's talk about the presentations. We have two terrible products, both of which, on their own, cause bodily harm to human beings. So they have an extreme negative impact. So what is going to separate these two? Like what are the next level factors that we're going to talk about that's going to set one apart from the other? Tim talked about lowering IQ. He talked about a propensity for violence. Talked about the damaging of the environment beyond our kitchen. Okay, and then John presented evidence regarding all of the other products, chemicals, items that were being placed in this microwave oven, all of which, well, not all, I mean, I'm sure the beef that was in the
Breadcrumbs are still good.
Yeah, that's right.
well, no, didn't the breadcrumbs contain caramel coloring and?
Well, it might have been for something else. We don't know if the breadcrumbs needed a little bit of toasting.
That's true.
A toasting effect.
Were they spell with a K?
They weren't.
I think
these are very somber breadcrumbs.
So, are you leaning in a particular direction? Because you and I still have to go. We have to move this.
I know we do have
Yeah.
to. I'm not sure why, but I'm leaning in the direction of the microwave oven. Probably just because it's a little more under the covers, to get to the bottom of all the nastiness.
So, Tim, I think, unfortunately, this was the bad luck of the draw because his presentation was excellent. And even as we were younger, we were all starting to learn about how bad leaded gas was. But there is something about John's passion with regard to his presentation. And
he had many more adjectives.
Incredibly so.
I concede that.
I do like my adjectives.
Yes.
It was quite compelling how there was such evil lurking underneath this veil of convenience. So I think we're in agreement here. And I hope we're both learning that passion brings an awful lot to the game here.
Yeah.
Because as we learned in the last episode as well. So I think we can shake on this, right? We're gonna press the power button on that microwave for the next round.
I'm gonna put my head in there and hit 60 start.
All right, so we have a winner.
I won.
I think so.
I haven't moved on in a while. I'm very excited. I would just like to sing that song from Gypsy. Give him the old razzle dazzle.
And just to give Tim a little credit, I think the IQ points I lost in the 70s may have assisted in my selection of John.
That's
so
right.
A small win on your side there, Tim.
If I hadn't won, I would have felt very bad for putting all that lead in Tim's water earlier. But now, by any means necessary, my friend.
Of course, it makes perfect sense.
I have a little, like I said, an update on Schmedley Bedley there. I will join you, the extra special overtime Patreon, whatever. We'll figure it out next week. But I'll add to it because I have a good update on that dude. Okay. Anyway.
Time for the music, I
need
think,
to hear
right?
a little music.
I would love a little music. Scott,
You want me to play us out?
No, can I have this dance? I want to celebrate for actually making it to the second round.
Okay, then.
Scott and I are going to dance.
I'll cut a piece of rug with you.
Let's do it. We'll be right back. Take me, Scott. Take me. I feel like I'm 16 again. Thank you, Scott.
Floating on air, are you, John?
I really am. And it's not these new insoles I bought. I have the very bad flat feet, Scott, so I need the insoles.
Well, all that MSG will help you float, too.
That's very true. Anyway, here we go. We're in our second
round, Pete.
Second
you ready?
round.
You
Bing,
ready?
bang,
Ready?
boom.
Bring it on.
Take it away, Mr. Bradshaw.
You got bad, I got worse.
Okay, well, we'll see. Once again, I always like to say hello, gents. And you guys detecting that? Why, I think it's my worstest invention for today. Because I'm presenting Smell-O-Vision.
Ah, yes.
So from my perspective, there are only a few reasons why things get invented. I believe there's a hierarchy of those reasons, and they are as follows. Number one, inventions primarily come about in an attempt to meet an unmet need. The best inventions serve an important and essential need, without which our lives would be worse or less comfortable. Number two, we also see inventions that are created to improve upon existing things. All of us at Worstest can remember hand-cranked windows in cars and trucks, don't we? But by 2008, they were completely replaced by power windows. Why would that have been? Well, not because the crank system didn't work, but automatic windows, they were just easier. And three, the third main reason for an invention is to, let's face it, make money. To convince people they need something. You know, like a gimmick, a scheme, a scam. An attempt to tell people with wallets and purses, here's something that you really need to have. Smell-O-Vision and other products like it are attempting to bring smells to the party. They fall into the third category. This surprised me, but in my research, I found out that for over a century now, people have been trying to use Smell-O-Vision and other systems like it to fix what isn't broken. They have the fanciful idea that we need smells, for example, in movies, TV shows, or plays to improve our viewing pleasure. And smells, believe it or not, they made it into movies before we even got the talkies. Do you know?
We got the stinkies first.
Yeah, right.
Sort of. Do you know what Smell-O-Vision actually brings to the party? I'll tell you. A room temperature 12-pack of Natty Lights. Nobody wants it or truly needs it, and this is only part of the reason that Smell-O-Vision is the worstest. Now, a quick side note for any of our international listeners. I want to quickly explain that Natural Light beer, nicknamed Natty Lights, is an American reduced-calorie light lager. Essentially, it's a beer for people who don't actually like beer. Let me return.
I was just thinking, if Smell-O-Vision came before sound in films, did they have big ads saying like, Garbo stinks?
I think that's the worst thing about it is that in order to give people a smell of interest, it's got to be bad, pretty much.
Maybe.
You know, I mean, mostly.
Introducing Ernest Borgnine's Musk.
Oh, breath would be even worse.
Honey, Ernest Borgnine's Musk is playing down the Bijou.
That'll make the Poseidon venture even sadder. She was some lady.
My Linda.
Hurry, scratch number 7. Scratch Borgnine. Scratch Borgnine.
Oh, it's ticklish. Which one? There's so many.
Too many Borgnines isn't a thing.
So I think you're probably getting a sense of where I'm taking this.
I think you're getting a sense of where I'm taking this.
I truly cannot think of a single time when I was sitting there watching, for example, Silence of the Lambs in the theater or at home on TV, and I thought to myself, boy, I really wish I could get a better sense of the dank decay present in Buffalo Bob's basement dungeon. Where are my smells at? So there have been a couple of different approaches to Smell-O-Vision, if you will. I want to start at the beginning. What I uncovered is as early as 1868, a fragrance effect was used at a theater in London when a scent was sprayed into the theater during the performance of something called Magic Dance of the Fairy Acorn Tree. Was Barry Wood in that?
Oh my God, he could have been literally every part of that title.
Pretty much.
He's the oak.
Yes. So the use of scents in conjunction with film dates back to 1906, well before the induction of sound in 1927, and I believe that was the jazz singer. In 1916, some place called the Rivali, I hope I'm saying that correctly, the Rivali Theater in New York, was equipped with the ability to pump scents into the theater for a short film called The Story of the Flowers. During the screening of a 1929 film called Lilac Time at a theater in Boston, the manager poured a pint of lilac perfume into a chamber of the theater's ventilation system so that the audience would smell lilac when the film's title appeared. Wow. Could you imagine how that must have changed your entire viewing experience? I mean, it is, as I can tell, you guys are, your sensibilities are where mine are at. This is sort of a ridiculous process and proposal, but let me continue. That same year, so we're talking 29, during the showing of the Broadway Melody at a New York City theater, they were spraying perfume from the ceiling. A gentleman named Arthur Mayer installed an in-theater smell system in Paramount's Rialto Theater on Broadway in 1933. He used that to deliver odors during the film. However, it would take over an hour to clear the scents from the theater, and some of those smells would linger for days afterwards.
I saw this one already.
As soon as you walk in, you know, honey, we're in the wrong theater.
Is that pumpkins?
All of these early attempts, however, were made by theater owners and weren't a part of the films themselves, okay? And it was said that audiences at times could be quite distracted by the scents, not so much focusing on the action or exposition of the film. They were, sniffing the air. Now, there was a gentleman who, a Swiss national named Hans Laube. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's Laube. He was described, and I've never heard of this before, he was described as having been an osmologist. Does anybody know what that is?
No.
Do not know.
I did not before this weekend. It's someone engaged in the scientific study of smells. Interesting, huh?
I think I want to be an osmologist.
Well, you better wait until the end of this, John, before you do that dive. You take that dive.
I don't want to be an osmologist.
By the 1940s, there were several serious attempts to bring scents to celluloid, but it was Laube's technique that was seen as having the most potential. Initially, he called this process Scentovision, and he introduced it during the 1939 New York World's Fair. The Scentovision system connected a complex series of pipes to individual seats in the theaters so that the timing and amount of an aroma could be carefully controlled by a projectionist using a control board. Not much could go wrong there.
Not at all.
It sounds complex.
In 1939, this was?
At the World's Fair, yes.
First sound, now smell! It's too much for me to take! William Castle's in the background, just wait for me. Making the tingler and stuff.
So this first film shown at the fair using this process was a smellodrama.
Holy shit.
Don't do a spit take.
I just took a drink. I almost destroyed my computer.
I might get that tattooed on my arm somewhere, smellodrama. It was the smellodrama Mein Traum, which is German for my dream.
It smelled like pillow saliva?
Maybe. The Times reported that Scentovision is said to have produced odors as quickly and easily as the soundtrack of a film produces sound. But Laube ended up years later returning to Europe in 1946, still unable to find interest in his invention from any film or television studios. How odd indeed.
A big suitcase of stink.
All these vials. I mean, some of these... I'm going to get there.
Does anyone want to buy my stink? Please.
Well, actually...
But by that time, he was so worn out, he was wearing smelling aids, and he was just...
Big cones in his nostrils. I can hardly smell anything now.
I think it smells good.
Tim, you're pretty good at accents. What's a Swiss? Because he was Swiss. What's a Swiss accent?
I don't know. I can't
I
do
don't know
with
what to
Swiss
do with that.
because there's so many
Kinda
languages.
Germanic.
It is a
right?
little
Yeah,
Germanic.
I suppose
but
it's Germanic. Yeah,
I think it's just a more uptight Germanic.
Yeah.
With more money.
right.
and chocolate.
Oh,
Yeah.
and guns.
They also have a citizen militia.
Wait, what was that?
Yes,
Kid
very
Rock?
true.
An organized
Do they
army.
really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So I
Okay,
think-
well
I
then
think-
maybe
I
that
think
has something to do
all
with it.
Men are supposed to have a rifle. That's my basic understanding. Could be wrong, but yes, there are a lot of weapons there.
The most deadly weapon is their deadly sense of sarcasm.
That might have been pretty good. That sounded a bit Swiss to me.
Yeah, right.
Did
I
we
eat-
digress?
I
A little.
I had a
little
little
bit.
had a little chocolate today, so maybe I'm very digressy today. I'm going to shut up for at least 30 seconds. Keep going, please.
Excellent. So as I did mention, there were several attempts to get their smell system out there. One example was from General Electric. GE developed a system in 1953 that they were calling Smellorama. They demonstrated its potential by exhibiting a three-dimensional image of a rose accompanied by floral scents. In September of 1958, there was an announcement about a film being released that next year that planned to use a fragrance process called Weiss Rhodia Screen Scent. The process had been developed over 2 years by Rhodia Inc. and was ultimately renamed Aromarama. So it's like vision, smell, Rama, everything's got to be in there.
That had to have been played at drive-in theaters.
Let's hope.
Oh, so
Yeah, they would always be promoting after the dancing hot dogs and ice cream pops. They would have to announce the special screen imagery and sound system that they were
I
using.
can smell the mustard on that hot dog. It's incredible. We truly are living in blessed times.
That's right.
So Aromarama was going to be part of this film release that was called Behind the Great Wall. It came out in December of '59, just a month ahead of another film that was about to, it's the one that's most credited with utilizing a smell-o-vision, a film called Scent of Mystery. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. But Behind the Great Wall came out, and there was a competition between these two films, and Variety magazine actually called it the Battle of the Smellies. Behind the Great Wall included a range of 72 different smells that included incense, smoke, oranges, spices, and this one they might have considered leaving out, a barnyard of geese. So I want to turn our attention now to the movie most associated with Laub's invention, The Scent of Mystery. This came out in 1960. I'm going to take us back to that World's Fair. So there was this movie producer named Mike Todd Sr. He had staged a series of musical films at this 39 World's Fair, and he actually met Hans Laub. Many years later, Todd Sr. and his son Todd Jr., they were producing Around the World in 80 Days. And they thought they might enhance that film with the use of a smell-o-vision. They remembered Laub's invention, spoke to him about it, ultimately decided not to use it for the film. Todd Jr., though, I guess he was more captivated by the idea. So after his father's death, he signed Laub to a movie deal. And Todd Jr. utilized Laub's system, smell-o-vision, because it had been approved many times over since that World Fair. And instead of them manually releasing scents, the smell-o-vision system now used what Todd Jr. referred to as a smell brain. I'm going to talk to you about it. So the smell brain was a series of perfume containers linked in a belt. See if you can follow this. So a series of perfume containers linked in a belt, arranged in the order that they would need to be released. The belt was then wound around a motorized reel. As the film threaded through the movie projector, markers on it would cue the smell brain. Needles would pierce the membranes of the containers, releasing the scents, which would then be blown by fans through the pipes to individual vents underneath the audience members' seats. Did anybody follow that?
I did. I followed it. It's insane.
Well,
When you first said belts, I thought you were going to tell me everyone had to wear a belt with stinks
Like
on
Batman?
it. Yeah, exactly. Get the number 4 smell now. That's petunias.
Scent of Mystery as a film was a mystery comedy in which the smells revealed certain plot points to the audience. For example, one character is identified by the smell of pipe tobacco. Fascinating.
Is that Borkum Riff?
As you might imagine, it could have been. My dad
like-
used to smoke
Yeah,
the
it's everyone-
cherry Borkum Riff.
Sure. Grandpa.
Yeah, there you go. Cost was a big factor about this. This really was never going to work on a large scale because
Was the cost of people not coming to the theater?
well, that was. We'll get to that as well. Now, these figures are so spread far apart. But remember, this was they were looking at this in the 50s and 60s. My research turned up that there was a Chicago Cinestage theater of course, in the U.S. that was equipped with a system at the cost of $15,000. But again, that's the 50s and the 60s. And then there were other estimates that theaters were spending what would have been near $1 million in today's money to do it. So, there were going to be some problems with this approach.
And what would we do today with Netflix?
Exactly. I did want to include some. So, of course, I think this is inherently a terrible thing to want to achieve and do. But I do want to provide, to make my case, some reviews of the technology at the time. The New York Times submitted a scathing treatment about the film Behind the Wall. The reviewer was a gentleman named Bosley Crowther. He called it a stunt that had an artistic benefit of nil. The accuracy of the odors was described as capricious, elusive, oppressive, or perfunctory and banal. Somehow I didn't screw that up. Merely synthetic smells that occasionally befit what one is viewing, but more often they confuse the atmosphere. He did add, though, by contrast, the film itself was not made with Aromarama in mind, and the film, the celluloid, received some high praise.
By the way, Scott, just to help you out, in 1950, $15,000 is equivalent to about $200,000 today. I'm going to say that they did not sell $200,000 worth of tickets to Stink Park.
Likely not. Smell-o-vision did not work as intended, according to Variety. Aromas were released with a distracted hissing noise, and audience members in the balcony were complaining that the scents reached them several seconds after the action was shown on the screen. In other parts of the theater, the odors were too faint, causing audience members to sniff loudly in an attempt to catch the scent. Not at all distracting. These technical problems were mostly corrected after the first few showings, but the poor word of mouth, in conjunction with generally negative reviews of the film itself, sort of signaled the end. So I want to wrap up with this.
Did you bring containers of stink for each of us?
No, but I think I have some very powerful suggestions to make, which will, Pete, I'm sorry, I do think this is going to propel me to the next round. So we all admit that a huge part of our human experience is influenced by the senses. But our imagination plays a huge role as we enjoy various types of artistic expression. Just ask any avid reader of novels. Does a novel really need smells to be enjoyed? Would a Hagar the Horrible cartoon strip be more hilarious if you could smell Hagar?
Oof.
Yeah, exactly.
Much less.
Do we need aromas to appreciate Da Vinci's Mona Lisa? Or Van Gogh's Starry Night? Oh my gosh! Or Goya's Saturn devouring his son? Please no!
Actually,
I don't know so much about
smells
that.
like barbecue sauce. It's weird.
And since this was mainly about movies and film, I can't help but come to the same conclusion. Do I want to smell the opening sequence of the storming of Omaha Beach in Saving Private Ryan? That silence tells the story. Would I enjoy it more if I could use my nose watching Tim Robbins escape from the prison through the sewage line in Shawshank Redemption? Oh my God, the campfire scene in Blazing Saddles. No, thank you. Does anyone feel like having smells representing the images on the screen would contribute in a positive way to your enjoyment of these pictures? The answer is a resounding no. So I'm going to summarize why smell-o-vision and any type of system that was attempting to achieve this was ill-informed and a terrible idea. We all know some common expressions about inventions, but the one we all know some version of is this: necessity is the mother of all inventions. So let's look at the necessity factor here. There are products, tools, inventions that we all have in our homes and apartments. And this is mainly because they are necessary to live the life that we desire. I am very glad that someone invented a plate and forks and spoons because I don't want to eat all of my food with my hands. Do I want to drink my morning coffee directly from the carafe? Not unless I'm looking to burn my mouth every day. That's why I use a mug or a cup. Simple inventions like these have a huge positive impact on our day-to-day lives. If this invention was truly essential and desired, then all homes, Pete, would have smell-o-visions. All theaters would be equipped with this so-called smell brain, leave the worm out, so we could better enjoy all big screen smell-o-dramas. But we don't because they aren't. We don't miss it because it's not needed. It never caught on for a reason. Smell-o-vision, it just plain stinks.
Bravo, bravo.
I wonder what kind of smell would encapsulate that performance. A grand one.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Like Dracar Noir.
Not high karate. There was a case down there.
That's very true.
I was thinking boysenberry.
Oh, nice. Just like IHOP.
Terrible.
Yes.
The weird blue syrup. I like the boysenberry one.
Did you ever have Marionberry in Oregon, John? When you were out in Oregon? Marionberry.
Isn't he in prison?
Yeah, he was the mayor of Washington, D.C., but there actually is
Twice.
a berry called Marionberry because it's Marion County, Oregon.
If you eat it, do you get a crack high?
Well, that's debatable. Some people say you do. It's like a cross between a blackberry and a blueberry. It's
That
very
sounds
good.
amazing.
It's
I
very
did
good.
not have that. I
Oh.
had buckleberry when I was in.
that's good too.
When I was in Alaska.
Everybody knows that the prostitute brought the Marion berries.
That's why he hired the prostitute, not for illicit sex, but for her delicious Marionberry pie.
That's just an origin story.
From an Oregon story.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
There you go.
The G is hard and soft, just like Marionberry.
Bitch, set me up. She did.
She did.
Who let Marion in the room?
As they do. Fantastic, Pete. Pete, it is you. You're batting last.
I'm the last
Clean
one
up,
up.
as they say.
Right, bat and
Clean
clean up.
this stinky mess up. What do you got?
I will try. I will do my best, and that was, Scott, a foul performance.
Thank you. Acrid at the most.
As foul as they come. And all I have to bring to you fine people today is the Trico Hair Removal System, aka System of Treatment. Albert C. Geiser's Trico machine removed unwanted hair. Geiser sold his Trico machines through Trico Sales Corporation in New York City. By 1925, his Trico machines were leased to more than 75 beauty salons throughout the United States, where women would receive an average of 20 direct X-ray treatments
Wait, what?
on their cheeks and upper lips to permanently remove surplus hair, which was responsible for causing thousands of women sores, tumors, and cancer.
Oh my gosh.
Ta-da!
What is it with you three today?
Man,
Holy shit.
it's brutal.
He is estimated to have had 200,000 clients at his New York clinic.
And then he had 180,000 corpses.
But they were all hairless.
That's right. They all look great. Well, let's say a single large dose or smaller doses repeated over long periods of time could cause damage to tissues that were not noticeable at the time, but often came to light years after the administration of the Röntgen rays. This injury often became manifest as pigmentation, wrinkling, atrophy, keratoses, ulcerations, carcinoma, and death. In 1929, the AMA alerted its members to Trico injuries and collected dozens of case studies. Most of the victims, shockingly, were young women, ages 18 to 30. Reports of women injured by Trico treatments appeared in the medical journals into the 1940s. The Trico was marketed as an award-winning innovation. Grand prize, which Trico was awarded, was sold by one Max Kaiser of London, who beginning in 1914 began to sell them to anyone for $400.
Here's one from the Kaiser.
Made arrangements for a manufacturer's exhibit at one of the numerous international exhibitions of the times. Further, he practically guaranteed that this exhibit would receive either a grand prize or a gold medal. In fact, the manufacturer was not required to pay Mr. Kaiser's fee until the prize or medal had been awarded. The Trico's prizes were won at the Paris Exposition Générale Commerciale on October 19th, 1925.
Nice pronunciation.
I do my best. I have no idea if that's accurate or not. Anyway, so there you have it, the wonderful, spectacular prizes, farcical, if you will. Let's see, we have some Trico system endorsed by the medical profession. The apparatus of the Trico system and the technique of its operation have been examined by many leading physicians, all of whom have endorsed the method. The attitude of the medical profession is well illustrated by the fact that Trico treatments have been given to the wives, daughters, and sisters of physicians.
Oh, well, yes, they wouldn't put them in harm's way.
Here's a 10-point summary. Number 1, Trico system removes superfluous hair permanently. Number 2, no pain, no inconvenience. Treatments are void of any sensation whatsoever. 3, treatments last but a few minutes. Treatments given not more often than every 2 weeks. 15 treatments sufficient in the great majority of cases. Number 6, a little ironically, says no scars or other injury to the most delicate skin.
Oh.
All treatments given by operators trained under personal supervision of Albert C. Geiser, MD.
And I'm sorry, what year is this?
This is around 1925.
All right.
In the 20s. Endorsed by physicians and beauty experts.
They must know what they're talking
What
about.
more could you
There
ask?
go.
Number 9, scientific, safe, sure. With hyphens. I don't know why.
Say sure.
Scientific, safe. Number 10, permanent removal of superfluous hair guaranteed.
And extraneous years off your life.
Well, you know. Listen,
Those are the ones where you're ugly.
So it is a beauty treatment.
It is a beauty. Yes, exactly. It's keeping you young. It keeps you young.
Okay, and here are some excerpts from Trico literature. All normal women desire to be beautiful, or at least to attain the highest degree of beauty that can be achieved by any practical means.
Jesus Christ.
Impelled by this desire, great numbers of women have resorted to futile, dangerous, and injurious means of removing disfiguring, superfluous hair.
No more.
It was the existence of such conditions that impelled Albert C. Geiser, MD, to devote his knowledge and ability to the perfecting of a practically safe and thoroughly effective method of removing superfluous hair.
I'm trying to feed all these starving children, but I'm impelled to fix hair.
Well, let's face it. He was trying to confront the menace of the Tweezer industrial complex.
That's right.
Monsters all.
Big tweeze.
That sounds like somebody in a 1930s gangster movie.
Hey, somebody get big tweeze here.
You know why they call? You know why they
right
call?
now he's shaving.
You know why they call him Big Tweeze? He's got big ideas.
He's going to take over half of Schenectady. This is Big Tweeze's town now. Hey, you seem to have a little unwanted hair. Big Tweeze knows where to go.
I think we got a new character here.
Yeah, really.
Continuing, that he was entirely successful in this is shown by the fact that in the course of the past 6 years in New York City alone, 20,000 areas of superfluous hair have been cleared permanently and without a single failure.
Just imagine a field with all that unwanted hair just piled up. And that became Staten Island.
Yeah, right.
Pete, what's this
I
gentleman's
had to
name
shut
again?
that down. Yeah, only 5 years of that, and they had to close it off.
Now it's a park.
Pete, I'm sorry. What's this guy's name again? Geyser?
Albert C. Geyser.
Geyser. So he employed somebody to count the body part areas that they were cleaning. What a terrible job.
2075. I can't wait to get out of here and go to that Smell-O-Vision TV movie show that's going around. You know, Garbo stinks.
So lastly, equal success has been achieved in thousands of cases throughout the country by means of this Trico system of treatment. I have another paragraph here to enlighten you guys.
Well, please share.
I'm not going to read off Alfred C. Geyser's medical stuff.
That is
Which seems to
exactly
be-
how it should be
Yeah,
referred
exactly.
to also.
So let's see. Many years ago, the discovery was made that the X-ray would destroy hair roots, preventing further growth. It was found, however, that serious injury might be caused by X-ray treatment for this purpose. Albert C. Geyser, MD, internationally famous X-ray expert and lecturer on radiology in various universities, devoted himself to the perfecting of means to make the X-ray treatment as safe and harmless as it was effective, and in this he was brilliantly successful.
Really?
Oh my God. The Trico system of treatment is the result. This dries up the hair roots in a manner similar to that of gradually getting bald, instead of attempting their sudden and violent destruction. My friends, and to the world at large, I present to you the world's worst invention. The Trico system of hair removal.
Well, Tim and I have quite the auspicious
Yes,
task
we do.
in front of us.
Both made with good intentions, I must add.
Isn't everything? All right,
That's
the way.
true.
That's the way.
guess they
I mean,
all
you're an award-winning and highly respected actor. You know that you do not play a villain as a villain. Every villain thinks he's a hero.
That's right.
And all these people think they're heroes.
And those mustaches are a damnable curse.
That if you're a villain, your tiny mustache that you're always twirling gives you away. So you need old Trico's, old Mr. Geyser's mustache burner.
Yeah, but you don't want your wife in the picture to have a larger handlebar mustache than you do.
Well, that's.
Well, we have
You
to,
also don't want her to have cancer.
Fair
There's-
enough.
Yeah, there's that.
next week we'll go into hair implantation. That's a whole other story.
Please. So, what do you? I don't know, Tim. What do you think?
Oh, it's a tough call.
There is the supercilious. Is that even the word? Right? There's the ridiculousness of Smell-O
Yeah.
vision.
Superficial, and as the illustrious New York Times reviewer Bosley Crowther stated.
Nicely done.
Yes, it was super abundant, or whatever word he used there. A stunt. It's a stunt.
A
It didn't.
gimmick.
It didn't. A gimmick. It didn't hurt anybody.
And then you have the madness of basically frying off hair with radiation.
Right. Right. Pretty bad.
Yes.
So-
Although it worked
It did.
It did work.
For a time.
for a time.
I've noticed
As long as you died within 6 months, you're
we've done a few podcasts where it seems that the body count seems to win out in the end, understandably. The worst of something.
Right.
I'd like to focus this maybe on not so much the worst, human results, but maybe just in this case, just what was a bad idea.
I think, here's the thing. This Mr. Geyser's invention, he did it.
Dr. Geyser.
Dr. Guy, well, was he ever disbarred?
no, I don't think he
Well, how's
was.
this? I'm going to disbar him.
Okay.
This is my posthumous disbarment.
That makes sense.
I'm a fighter for people. So yes, I'm with you. This is one particular lunatic, a bad one. I will not take that away from you. That is a bad invention. But the fact that something so ridiculous as Smell-O-Vision was not a one-shot, hey, let's try to do this. Oh, it's dumb. I'll never do this again. This literally, Scott, this Smell-O-Vision went on for 70, 80 years. I don't know if you're going to talk about the history of Smell-O-Vision post the 1960s, but there's smell-o-vision, smell-o-rama, smelliciousness that goes on past what you were talking about. So this is an idiotic invention that literally everyone thinks they can make it better and better, and oftentimes they make it worse and worse.
Unlike Geyser's patients, this won't die.
Yeah, I would go along with that.
It's the path I'm going down.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, I think so too. I think smell-o-vision is just a really bad idea. It was a stunt, and it should have stayed a stunt way back in the day and died out, as most stunts usually do.
Yeah. I think we're in agreement that this one goes to the pure ridiculousness of smell-o-vision or smell-o-rama or odorama or
Scent-o-vision.
What was the
Odorama was one.
Smellodrama.
smell-o-drama?
That's
killed
the
me.
type of film, though, fellas. Let's keep it
That's
straight.
true. I'm catching a cold. I'm starting to get sick, and literally just smell-o-drama made it go away. It cured me. I've been cured. Also, I had a limp when I first came in, and it's gone.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
nice. So now that we have a winner in the second round,
It's the finals.
It is the finals. So let's
finals.
make another little. Scott. Earlier, it was you and I who danced to the beautiful music. But after this musical break, we're gonna dance in the pit, in the arena of worstest.
I want a different dance partner.
In the dodecahedron of worstest.
And I'm about to step on your toes. We'll be right back.
You're in a lot of trouble, Scott.
I am.
Ooh, I'm still filled with the need to win. But Scott wants to go first. So, Scott, although I have the killer eye, I still am a good, decent person. And civility trumps all. So, take it away.
Well, before I begin, I would just like to turn to the two remaining judges and tell them that they are both incredibly attractive human beings. And my built-in scent-o-vision says that you both smell very manly. I'm detecting some sandalwood, perhaps a little bit of thyme. So, well done. I don't know what fragrances you're wearing, but I applaud that.
I'm sure.
Maybe a bottom note of citrus or bergamot?
Perhaps. Bergamot?
Bergamot, that's maybe what it is.
I thought you said bubblegum, maybe.
Well, there's bergamot on my bubble gum.
So I think I'm going to be able to engage my opponent, John, as I reference, I think, a hero of his, John Waters and polyester. I am not the student of John Waters' work, but I do know this. He loves to take the piss out of things. And I cannot help but think that his movie Polyester was an homage to smell-o-vision. When he released that film, American film director John Waters, he said that he was going to be using an enhanced odorama version for the film in 1981. And he handed out to filmgoers a scratch and sniff card. And as I recall, there were 10 different sniffs that you had to scratch at certain points in the movie. Each card was numbered, and when the number flashed on the screen, you had to scratch it. And although this scratch and sniff card solved any of the problems inherent in previous attempts at using this technology, it also did not gain widespread usage in other films. But he definitely was punching these people in the crotch by bringing that in there, while also trying to offend, which was sort of his thing. Am I right?
First of all, the punching of the crotch was number 6.
Okay.
On the scratch and sniff card.
Very good. What did that smell like?
Yeah, you don't want to. You just don't. Yeah, I don't think it was even offending to him. It was just, he never approached things to mock it. He was always just trying to push it kind of to its limits, and here's just a thing. And so he's not going to mock it. He's not going to snarl at it. He's oh, that's stupid. Hey, yeah, let's use it.
So another reason that we can see this olfactory process as being failed is because none other than Walt Disney decided against using it in Fantasia. Fantasia was released in 1940, and Disney envisioned Fantasia as he wanted it to be this sensory film-going experience, sight and sound to be sure, but Walt wanted more. And he did dream of producing a film with extraordinary effects such as 3D. And he was thinking about bringing smell to the theater, like wafting perfume through the theater as the wildflowers danced during the Nutcracker Suite segment, or gunpowder aroma during the sorceress spell casting. But, and this guy was not cheap when it came to making his movies, even he decided it would have been crazy to try to do that if he was going to have a major release, which this certainly was, so he scrapped the idea.
Also, smelling the smell of the dancing hippos is nothing that I want to be part of. Nor Bela Lugosi's nostrils. He was the model for Satan.
Oh my gosh, yes, I had read
Lugosi,
that.
yeah.
I didn't want to spend that much time talking about it, but Disney, he knew it was going to hurt him in the wallet. He kicked it to the curb.
And the nostril.
So finally, since smell-o-vision was really related to artistic endeavors, I want to bring it back to something I ended with in my winning round. I mentioned the expression, necessity is the mother of all invention. And that the origins of a similar expression, they're commonly associated with Plato's Republic, which says, our need will be the real creator. From what I could tell, this was written sometime between 380 and 370 BCE. That's before Common Era to you and me. But appears to also have shown up earlier in Aesop's fable, The Crow and the Pitcher. That was written perhaps as far back as 600 to 560 BCE. Guys, this is very unusual, but I came across this wonderful version of The Crow and the Pitcher. It was set to rhyme by a guy, Jeffries Taylor, so if you'll indulge me. You must know that a crow felt inclined, when she'd dined, for some drink, being thirsty and hot, but a puddle or pool her fever to cool. Within 20 miles there was not. Then said she, woe is me, surely I must soon die, when lo, she espied at a distance a jug or a pitcher, alias pipkin or mug, which promised the needed assistance. Apropos, said the crow, now I think I shall drink, and I shall be there in a minute. But alas for the bird, still her draught was deferred, for scarcely a cupful was in it. How provoking I'm choking, said she, but let's see. Sure I've thought of a project to gain it. With stones from my bill the deep jug I will fill. Then the water will rise till my thirst it supplies. She did so, and so did obtain it. Had this two-legged thing been as stupid as many, though dying for drink, she would not have got any. For the good that in life one most commonly gains arrives not by luck, but by using one's brains. I love that. Yes, there are still people out there trying to push this crap system out there. You can buy modules.
Was it a crow?
I just loved that poem, so I decided I'm throwing it in there. I don't care what it does to my case. I had to include it.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
So there,
right.
You and your monosodium glutamate, you can stuff it. You can stuff it, pal. And your polyethylene, whatevers.
I think it was Tim's guy.
Yeah.
Is that your...
Well,
So-
and there are still systems out there, and you talked about AI. They're trying to push this into VR headsets.
Stink.
Yes. Come on now. Enough. It's the worstest.
I have bad enough problems with inkjet printers. I don't need to be buying stink modules.
People slapping their brothers and sisters or loved ones in the face while they're fighting ninjas, and now you got to smell their razor sharp throwing stars? I don't get it.
I don't want it. Well,
So that's it. Do your worst.
I'm
Do your worstest.
I am going to do my worstest. Well, on mine.
Will it be enough? Will it be enough?
Oh, believe me. Talking about the microwave oven, we last left the microwave oven with some poor young fellow heating up food in a microwave, being the solitary act, immediately
guy.
cramming it down in his gullet. A harsh and lonely existence. Some statistics. Number one is of September 2022. 91% of parents surveyed noticed their family was less stressed when they shared meals together. We're certainly a country and maybe a society that talks about the stress and the anxiety that they all feel. Number 2, nearly 7 in 10 employed adults, 69%, said they would feel less stressed at work if they had more time to share a meal with someone. Once again, not the solitary act of heating up some poison in a poisonous container. Number 3, sharing meals encourages healthier choices, with 59% of people saying they are more likely to make better food decisions when eating with others. Number 5, 84% of adults wish they could share a meal with loved ones more often. But how often do we? The hard statistics are hard to come by, but not nearly often enough if the stats of what people wish could happen are anything to go by. I'll also give you this last little morsel of sadness. Microwave ovens were used to warm up blood in hospitals, but it heated it up too fast and it ruined the blood supply, possibly killing people in the early stages. They are just the worst. The worstest.
You know, I hear that microwaves are bad if you put a baby in it too. Should we be heating them up?
Now, Scott, to finish this up, I'm reminded of a fable that I heard.
Nobody liked my poem.
There's an old Aesop's fable about a young boy who bought a can of Dinty Moore's stew at a 7-Eleven, and he had no way of heating it up. He had a delicious and fun-loving spork, but he had no way of heating the congealed grease that sat on top of the can to poke through so he could get to the delicious Dinty Moore stew. And so he had asked the person behind the counter, "Can I use your microwave?" And he said no. And that reminds me of a poem that was written by...
Wait, what was the moral of that story?
Shit, don't eat Dinty Moore's stew at a 7-Eleven, dude. But this is the poem that was told to me by my father in one of his only moments where he showed tenderness and he was not being beaten with an old shoe by my stepmother. And this is the poem he would sit on his knee and tell me. Ooh, ooh, that Dinty Moore stew, a pile of grease atop it. The young boy went to the microwave at 7-Eleven, but the proprietor said, "Hey, stop it. You can't heat that can, you see. It is metal and will make a spark." And so the young boy took that can of grease, he ate it, had a cardiac embolism somewhere in a darkened park. He's dead now.
Is that the final quatrain?
That is.
Cardiac embolism.
It's one of the...
It's just so poetic.
It is one of the few moments I have with my father that I can remember that I felt joy. That was the best
I'm
moment.
still trying to envision how your father sat on his knee.
Oh, he was all double jointed. He was all messed up.
Well, that took a turn.
What's that? You
Tim
have a
is like,
poem?
please, no more poems.
Tim, you have a poem?
No, I do not. No.
My poem is one word. No. Stop.
I'm full of surprises. What can I tell you?
So,
Have at
Here
it,
is.
boys.
Here it is.
Pete and Tim.
All right.
My feeling is that Scott has taken this unimportant and, I don't know, just something nobody really cares about and has really breathed worseness into it. It's just, I mean, we can all find something about the microwave, it's this, it's that, but when you got something that nobody really cares about as much as smell-o-vision, I really feel he gave it a good dose of life.
He did. It's such an insipid idea, but I think Scott played up the outrage pretty well about how people just keep trying to bring it back. How sometimes, bad ideas just won't die. Mm-hmm. I never realized about the microwave. We didn't have a microwave in our house until I was probably 18 or 19, my parents just never bought one. And I was like, what's the big deal? Why does everyone have microwaves? They were surprised we didn't have one. Then we got one. I didn't use it a lot because I wasn't used to using it. Now, like everybody else, I'm used to it. But that's a good point. Sometimes it's like, you don't want to touch it. It's too hot. And, would it really take that much longer just heating up on the stove?
It doesn't. It doesn't. If you have a tea kettle, like if you're heating up water to make tea or something, It's quicker in a tea kettle. It's safer in a tea kettle,
Yeah.
certainly. If you heat water, like in a cup to make tea, what happens is this. When it starts heating, if there are any kind of scratches or whatever, you'll notice like bubbles will form on there. And because of, I believe,
Surface tension?
the surface tension, if there's no bubbles being formed, it gets superheated above the boiling point. And it will not boil because there's nothing for like the bubbles to attach to.
So the scratches are important.
Yes.
Okay.
Especially on like glass that hasn't been scarred or marked in the little tiniest bit. Those bubbles won't form and the water will get higher than boiling point. And then when you pull it out, like if you put tea in it or whatever, it will explode,
Well, I mean,
killing everyone in a 3-mile radius, I believe.
so
Make
I,
your decision.
So yeah,
do
that's
you think?
kind of where I stand.
What, smell-o-vision?
I'm leaning towards the smell-o-vision.
Yeah, I'd go with that too. It's just dumb enough.
It's very
It's
dumb.
unnecessary. It doesn't make movies any better,
No.
right? And it's just this kind of silly stunt that should have died back in the 50s when they were pulling all these stunts.
Microwaves don't make anything better either. A matter of fact, they make things considerably worse.
Actually, it makes pizza worse. Pizza is terrible in the microwave.
Thank
terrible.
you.
I heated up a slice of pizza before coming over here, and I used my air fryer.
Yeah, that's good. But
John, is that
yeah.
going to kill all the people within a 3-mile radius? If I don't scratch up the pizza crust first?
No, because pizza is in parallel. If you had an Elio's pizza,
Oh,
where
forget
the
it.
sides are, oh my God, you would have taken
It's like
out
an H-bomb.
the whole town. Everyone would have been covered in cheese and sauce and death.
and partially hydrogenated oil.
How did you know that was in there, Tim? That was amazing.
I grew up eating that stuff.
That's true.
I turned out all right.
So, boys, call it.
I call for smell-o-vision, but
I,
you know, if
I second.
you second
I
it,
second smell-o-vision.
well,
All right.
there you have it.
Congratulations, Scott.
Stink-o-vision it
Well,
is.
folks, we
Thank
have
you.
smell-o-vision
Smell-o-vision.
as the
Smell-o-vision.
worst.
The worst
Invention.
invention.
I have to
ever.
say that was quite a surprise because you presented an excellent, everyone did, but you were an excellent challenge, John.
Thank you, sir. As were you. As were you. As was everybody.
If I had not just earned my Smell-o-vision black belt, I'm not sure I would have survived that, this tourney.
That onslaught. Well, it's a very difficult one. Well, before we do our bestest, let us quickly remind you that if you enjoyed yourself, and of course you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Share links, subscribe on whatever podcatcher it is that you listen to this on, and leave us a little review. Help us out. Help the algorithm help us out. Leave us a review, 5 stars, please. And if you got something to say to us, write it down. We'll listen to anything you write. And if you want to talk to us direct, kind of, use worstestpodcast@gmail.com. We appreciate you listening to us, very much so. We see our numbers rising in all kinds of cool and interesting places. And we work hard at this, and we truly appreciate you appreciating our hard work. And now, everyone's favorite part, the palate cleansing. Maybe after a scratch and sniff on number 6 with the pig pen, let us go to number 7 with a blooming hydrangea. And by that I mean the bestest. Pete, why don't you start off your bestest of this week?
Sure. I was telling someone, may have actually been Scott, I don't remember, but how I was listening to the radio, probably was coming here one day, and I was listening to WFUV, and they just play great music and just, put you in a good mood. And, some of the other stations I listen to, or, what's going on in the news, and this is that, this is wrong, and that's wrong, and give me a nice radio station that plays good music, and, that's it. Some good new tunes, good old tunes. There's nothing, nothing to be upset about. WFUV.org.
They're great. Great radio station.
That's great. It's
My
the
wife
best.
and I love them. They're awesome.
Scott, what do you got? Scott's looking at porn.
No,
Oh my God.
He's
That's
smelling porn.
Dude, that's
how did
everyone's-
Randy Wood get on my phone?
Everyone's trying to stop porn with, this and that and religious this and that. All you need to do is add smell-o-vision to porn.
Ooh.
no one will watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Probably not.
Wow.
I've read articles on like people who are in like the trade and the sex trade,
Oh, yeah.
like what they have to say about being on set, and unanimously, it's the worst smelling place to be on a porn set.
Yeah.
Scott, you might have solved the problem of porn addiction.
Well, I just want to prove to my fellow casters I'm not looking at any porn, but I was trying to gather up some information about
Is this more poetry?
No.
Good God.
I guess I'm never going to do that again.
Do it again, just...
Well, you won.
But that's true.
You know,
but
Scott, actually, I think I'm just, I'm offended by possibly by the amount of lead that was put into my brain, because I wouldn't have been as smart as that crow putting pebbles in the pitcher. I just would have knocked the pitcher over and licked water off the grass.
well, they don't. I mean, they have a tongue, but it probably wouldn't be a good way to drink the water.
I would have wasted it all. If I was a crow, I would have wasted it all. The crow is smarter than me. That is why I hate.
And we would not have a podcast right now.
We wouldn't.
Thank God this never happened.
Amen. Scott, what are you looking at on your phone?
I'm going to tell you. So, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks at most.
Is it erotic literature?
No.
Damn it.
Was the most recent Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And a band that I did enjoy quite a bit, Soundgarden, they made it in. Unfortunately, it's after the death of their their lead singer, Chris Cornell. But the band showed up. I thought it was very cool that they also invited their original bass player on stage with them. And they performed despite Chris's absence. And they found these two amazing women to get on stage with them. They did Rusty Cage. Well, first off, let me mention Taylor Momsen of a band from a band Pretty Reckless performed Rusty Cage, and my recollection was that good old Brandy Carlisle got up there to do Black Hole Sun, and I was quite moved by the performances, and then that made me remember that it had been probably decades, I'm ashamed to say, that I hadn't listened to my favorite album of theirs, Down on the Upside, and I've been rocking that for the past like 72 hours. What an amazing band. Absolutely deserve to be there, inducted with all those other mostly excellent bands. And if you like Soundgarden and want to give them a try, I would definitely start with Down on the Upside.
All right. Tim, what do you got?
Well, let's see. Saturday night, my youngest son got his college applications in just under the wire for
As one does.
for early decision. Yep. So we're very happy about that.
Where did he
cool.
apply?
Well, early decision to Vassar. He's applying.
Very nice.
So we're hoping that he gets in. We'll find out in about a month.
Very
That's,
cool.
that's, that's upstate, right?
Yeah,
Upstate?
Poughkeepsie.
Yeah. Yep.
Nice. I forgot to say this before. I'm going to say it right now. My bestest, although I didn't win, my groovy girlfriend, I'm going to say it. She gave me the idea for the microwave oven.
Really?
She did. So it's nice. It's kind of a new relationship, and things are moving nicely. And we were able to kind of, she helped me along on this little path, and it's a nice thing.
So they were tag teaming us the entire time.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's right. That's goddamn right. I don't know even what that means. I haven't gotten to wrestling in my big sports college courses that Tim told me to take. But maybe next week I'll get to wrestling and I'll understand what you were trying to tell me. And until that time comes, we leave you, dear listener, hopefully fulfilled and happy and knowledgeable in the fact that you now know what is the worst invention, which is smell-o-vision. Smells like Cheetos.
What is that?
Smells like pug paws. Anyway, good night, everybody. Bye.
Take care.
See you all. Be well.
And then real quick, let's just do the
Stage
Patreon, the second
part 2, right?
part 2 stuff. So the two of you, did you have a? We did this last week. So for the Patreon, this is like the extra
Oh, okay.
The exercise. So whatever your part 2 is going to be.
Tell them how they used to make kittens drink leaded gas to make sure it was potent enough.
Okay, let me see if I still have that here.
What's the timer at?
I mean, we're like 2:30, but
I can do mine. You want to?
Go ahead, yeah.
You
go
can
ahead.
research while
Yeah.
whilst I go for it.
Yeah.
so hello, fantastic Patreon supporter. You wanted the part 2s that everybody else missed out on. Well, now you're going to get them. Here's Pete's part 2.
That's right. And I was talking about the Trico system of hair removal.
Terrible.
It was not a good one.
No.
I just have a little parable here, if you will.
Not a poem?
On 25 February
Make it rhyme.
1940, an officer with the San Francisco Police Department's homicide detail reported a, quote, rather suspicious business operating in the city. At 126 Jackson Street sat an old 3-story rooming house, recently leased by Dr. Henry F. St. Pierre of the Dermick Laboratories. As Assistant Special Agent J.W. Williams later described the scene, quote, women had been seen entering the place from the Jackson Street side at various times of day.
Were they hairless?
Subsequently leaving
Not when they went in.
subsequently leaving by an alley at the rear of the building. Following the arrival of the women, cars would arrive with a man carrying a case resembling a doctor's kit. They would also enter the building for a short time, come out, and drive away. At first sight, the medical kit, the furtive departures, and the seedy locale all signaled to Williams that St. Pierre was running a new abortion parlor. As it turned out, however, the
It was worse.
The so-called doctor was offering a somewhat different service to these women, the removal of their unwanted body hair through prolonged exposure to X-rays.
That's not funny.
At the time of Williams' writing, the practice of removing hair with X radiation was thoroughly disreputable, if not illegal, in most of North America. And I have one last little tidbit that why wouldn't we say this when we have the chance? This is about Mr. Dr. Geyser, and it says his experimentation with X-ray radiation on his direct skin forced the amputation of all the fingers, metacarpal bones, and one row of carpal bones on his left hand to stop the spread of cancer. He later lost his right hand to ulcers.
Wow.
Well,
Dude,
you know.
dude, why didn't you lead with that?
Yeah, that I would have voted that way. So, you know. Anyway, okay, there we go.
That's okay.
That's what everybody missed out.
That's why we do this for the Patreon.
Self-mutilation.
The
That
Patreon
is-
listeners.
Jesus
They need to
jingles.
hear this stuff.
Tim, what do you got?
All right, well, I'm going to overwhelm you guys with some cold, hard facts. Throughout the 60-year period from 1926 to 1985, an estimated 20 trillion liters of leaded gasoline were produced and sold in the United States alone. 3/4 of which would have been emitted in the form of lead chloride and lead bromide. Estimating a similar amount of lead to have come from other countries' emissions, a total of more than 15 million tons of lead may have been released into the atmosphere. So, in July 2021, the sale of leaded gasoline for cars was completely phased out worldwide, following the termination of production by Algeria, prompting the United Nations to declare an official end of its use in cars on August 30th, 2021.
I don't think did you mention actually what the lead released by the gasoline does to the atmosphere and all that other good
We
stuff?
didn't get too much of the atmosphere. It's more about what happens to human beings.
Yeah. Okay.
So in 2011, researchers retroactively estimated the annual impact of tetraethyl lead worldwide to be 1.1 million excess deaths, 322 million lost IQ points, 60 million
that.
plus crimes, and 4% of worldwide GDP.
Wow.
Leaded gasoline. An absolute disaster.
That kind of answers your question, Pete. What happens when it's in the
Yeah,
atmosphere?
yeah.
And I'm gonna wrap yours up with a little bit. So, actually, we had two nice karmic endings. So we had one nice karmic ending with Pete, and now I'm gonna give you a karmic ending. What was his name?
Midgley. Thomas
Midgley.
Midgley Jr.
So, I would like to go to something I like to talk about far too often. That's why I have very few people in my social circle. DDT, don't fight me on it. The banning of
Here we go again.
banning of DDT caused hundreds of millions of deaths. DDT does not destroy eggshells. There was 2 different pages, like 50 pages between in that book. Blah blah blah. So the scientists who discovered or the scientists who invented DDT used to go on talking tours at colleges, and he would begin his talking tour. He would walk into a big, rotunda or whatever, and he would begin his talk about DDT by taking a big spoonful of DDT and eating it. And he did this for years. And then finally he died. In his 80s while he was mountain climbing. I'm not kidding. There's no problem with DDT. On the other hand, there's Blugly. What's his name? Midgley. So Midgley, who, one thing you didn't talk about was how the lead lobby. So basically, lead was banned like all over the world, except here. There's a gigantic lead lobby, and they kept the United States keeping lead in cars and stuff till the 70s, where other places had banned it 60 years before. Midgley, Andrew Ridgely. Oh no, I liked him.
That's what he said.
He continued pushing no lead, and he kept on doing experiments and this, that. And this bag of shit who literally did all that damage that Tim just talked about in the world, he died a twitching, writhing, absolute horrific mess. He was the worst kind of lead poison you could have.
Oh, he had it.
He had it.
That makes sense.
But he kept on doubling down. It doesn't cause anything. It doesn't cause anything. While his jaw's above his skull. And he basically looked like a 1930s Betty Boop skeleton in a cartoon. Just flooping and flapping all over the place. Like the Way Outs in the Flintstones. Yeah. So that is the R.I.P.
Oh, wow.
to that bag.
Do you know how old he
shit.
was when he died?
I don't. I think it was in his 60s. Yeah. Yeah. So we have a little bit of the Patreon listeners both get to hear a little bit of karmic comeuppance.
You could say that.
And that is all right. Thank you guys for supporting us, and or thank you so much for supporting us, and we will see you again on the next Worstest. Good night, everybody.
Peace out.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Awesome.
All right.
Well
Good one.
done. Well done.
That did feel like a good one.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one. There had a lot of energy. It was good. Yeah, I know you're late. Yeah, I'm tired. I gotta go home.
No, don't worry about it, guys.
Boy, go. You were making sleepy sleep face, but you did great, man. You did great.
Good.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, good topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I knew you were dead. I would have sent you that podcast. They're so. I mean, I listened to it, but there's so much. It's
It's
bad.
insidious.
I
I
didn't
realized how bad it was. I remember as a kid seeing it and thinking, all right, the dad always gets unleaded, you know. And then eventually it was gone. One day it was gone. I was like, oh, I guess that's not a thing anymore. Then you hear about,